Hello friends, welcome back. Today's recap tells the story of a young woman who decides to take revenge on the Mafia after her friends were killed in her own way. Will she succeed? Let's find out. The movie begins with a Russian girl named Anya, who wakes up to a message from two of her friends. They're spending the weekend in Morocco and tell her they're having an amazing time enjoying the trip and the atmosphere, and that they wish she could be there with them. She replies that she's been to Morocco 3 times before and describes it as a beautiful Arab country with many tourist attractions. After that, Anya starts her usual routine, doing some exercise because she works as a professional assassin for the Russian Mafia. Most of her missions involve killing businessmen who traffic humans and assault women. Shortly after, another friend calls her and tells her to turn on the TV and watch the news. Anya turns it on and hears a news anchor talking about a horrific murder of 2 Russian girls in the mountains of Morocco. The criminals filmed a video of them being assaulted and then killed them in a very brutal way. Anya is shocked when she sees the images. Those girls were her friends in Morocco. She decides to take revenge, so she contacts another friend in the Mafia and asks her to make her a fake passport so she can travel to Morocco without revealing her identity, with the goal of hunting down the killers. Since she's part of the Mafia, she's already wanted by the authorities. Her friend gives her a phone and tells her to go to a certain address, where she'll meet someone from the Mafia who will help her get to Morocco easily and introduce her to people there who can assist her. Anya goes to the address and arrives at an old warehouse, where she meets a man wearing a helmet. She finds out he's the Mafia boss's assistant. He gives her a bag with a passport under a fake identity, and tells her the criminals who killed her friends are 3 men, 1 in Florida and the other 2 in Morocco. A week later, we see a U.S. intelligence team led by Captain Richard monitoring one of the men involved in the murder. When they hack his computer, they discover he's uploading the murder video on social media to damage Morocco's reputation in Europe. Suddenly, Anya breaks into the man's apartment, kills him, and escapes quickly. Captain Richard spots her and orders his men to chase and arrest her before she gets away, but she manages to escape, boarding a boat out at sea. They fail to even identify who she is. Meanwhile, a famous YouTuber named Vance is on vacation in Morocco, playing golf with his manager, Jack. They're talking about the month's profits when Vance gets a call from Hakim, his social media manager, telling him he's throwing a party at his villa and will bring a lot of girls so Vance can have fun. Vance eagerly agrees, as he's a sleazy guy who loves exploiting women. It turns out Hakim was the one who kidnapped the 2 murdered girls and handed them over to the 3 criminals who assaulted and killed them. Later, Jack tells Vance that to celebrate reaching 10 million YouTube subscribers, he's got him a special gift, introducing him to 3 girls who had been playing golf nearby. Vance agrees, and Jack talks to them. He comes back with 2 of them, while the 3rd refuses to go. The 2 girls take pictures with Vance, and when he invites them to his party that night, they agree because he's famous. Their 3rd friend warns them not to go, fearing they might be assaulted since they don't know Vance personally. But they accuse her of being old-fashioned, saying he's too famous to risk his reputation. At the same time, Anya arrives in Morocco to continue her mission to kill the men who murdered her friends. She gets a message from the Mafia telling her about Vance's party and that she must go there to find Hakim, since he was the one who kidnapped her friends. Anya goes to the party to look for him but accidentally spots Vance in his room with one of the girls he invited. It's clear he intends to assault her. One of the guards becomes suspicious of Anya and attacks her, but she fights him off and escapes. Meanwhile, in his room, Vance forces himself on the girl, just as her friend had feared. The next day, Anya finds out where Hakim is and meets him, pretending to be a history teacher. She offers him $50,000 to show her around the city. Hakim agrees and tells her Morocco is one of the most beautiful Arab countries, with plenty of tourist landmarks. Suddenly, Anya hears a girl screaming for help. She tells Hakim she's going to the bathroom, then follows the sound to find Hakim's guards trying to assault a young girl in front of her brother. Without hesitation, Anya attacks and kills them on the spot. After that, Annie goes back to Hakim and asks him to take her to the forest because she wants to photograph the natural scenery and prepare a full research project on the history of Morocco. Hakim agrees, and when they arrive, she asks him about the murder of the 2 Russian girls. But she doesn't tell him they were her friends, so he won't realize she's planning to kill him. He tells her that it was the most horrific crime to happen in Morocco recently, as the criminals who killed the girls had assaulted them first, and even filmed a video while killing them mercilessly. Annie interrupts him and asks to see the crime scene, pretending she's just curious and wants to know every detail so she can write articles about it on social media. At the same time, Captain Richard is in a meeting at the U.S. intelligence headquarters, briefing officials on the details of the crime in Morocco. They learn that the 3 criminals were of American origin, and after conducting a detailed investigation, he discovers that a professional hitwoman named Annie is hunting them down to kill them, because the murdered girls were her friends. Based on this, he must assemble the team and fly to Morocco to capture her, especially since she's wanted for 30 murder cases, including the killing of a former Secretary of Defense. After the meeting, the intelligence chief speaks with Rose, the data analysis officer, and asks him to contact the Moroccan government because he has intel that Annie is with Hakim, and will most likely kill him, since he's the one who kidnapped her friends and handed them over to the criminals who murdered them. Meanwhile, the Moroccan police are investigating the killing of the guards Annie murdered. Detective Sarah and her partner John arrive at the crime scene and speak to the girl the guards were trying to assault. Her younger brother tells them the guards were about to attack his sister when a blonde woman showed up, defended her, killed the guards, and left. Later, Detective John goes to the police station, where the chief briefs him on the latest developments in the guards' murder case and asks him to take over instead of Sarah because she's too reckless and constantly causes problems for the police in front of the media. But John refuses, telling him Sarah is a loyal friend, highly intelligent, with strong deductive skills, and that she's solved many cases with ease before. That's why he needs her on this case, especially since Annie is the suspect. Annie is a professional Russian assassin tied to the Russian Mafia, and she's not someone they can capture easily. The chief agrees but warns them not to talk about the case in front of the media, as that could hurt tourism and scare foreigners away from Morocco. He also tells them that U.S. intelligence has sent a team to capture Annie, and that they need to cooperate to solve the wave of murders happening lately. Back to Annie and Hakim, they arrive at the crime scene. Annie becomes emotional and starts crying because her friends died so brutally. She feels guilty, thinking that if she had been with them in Morocco, she could have protected them from those criminals. Suddenly, she gets a text from an unknown number telling her the Moroccan police know where she is and are on their way to arrest her. Annie decides to kill Hakim to get revenge. At the same time, Hakim gets a message from a friend telling him Annie works with the Russian Mafia and wants to kill him. He confirms this when he sees a knife in her hand. Hakim speaks to her in fear, begging her not to kill him, but when he sees she's determined, he runs into the forest, hoping to escape. Annie chases him down, eventually catching up and attacking him. Hakim fights back, hitting her in the legs with a stick, and then takes off running again. Meanwhile, famous YouTuber Vance is talking to his bodyguard Michael, asking why he always follows Hakim's orders without question. Michael tells him Hakim filmed him committing murders to blackmail him, forcing him to obey. Hakim also recorded him with several women to threaten him and demand $10 million. Vance gets furious and realizes Hakim had been setting him up with women just to secretly record him. Vance and Michael then agree to kill Hakim, but only after making sure all the videos are deleted by hiring a hacker to wipe them. Finally, we return to Detective Sarah and John, who arrive at the spot where Annie had been. They find her phone in the lake, then start searching the forest to track her down and arrest her. Night falls, and Hakim manages to escape from the forest and return home, terrified. He calls Vance, asking him to send money so he can flee Morocco before Annie kills him. Vance refuses and tells him he knows about his betrayal, that he had been filming him while he was assaulting women to blackmail him for money. Suddenly, Annie bursts in and puts a knife to Hakim's neck, threatening to kill him and record a video to serve as a warning to anyone who assaults women. At that moment, Detective Sarah and her partner John arrive at Hakim's house. As soon as they see Annie, they request backup and prepare to storm the house. Meanwhile, Michael, Vance's bodyguard, attacks John, knocking him out, and throws Sarah into Hakim's house to make it seem like he's defending him. Annie attacks Michael and tries to kill him, but he overpowers her, knocks her to the ground, and takes the knife from Hakim to dispose of it. Just before he can harm her, he gets a message from Vance confirming that all the videos Hakim was threatening with have been deleted. Michael's expression changes, and he kills Hakim to take his revenge and eliminate him permanently. Annie seizes the opportunity and attacks him as well, managing to kill him, but luck is not on her side. Sarah hits her on the head, and she loses consciousness completely. The next day, Annie wakes up to find Sarah has tied her to a chair. Sarah lectures her, saying she killed 4 people effortlessly in just 24 hours, which is extremely rare in Morocco due to its low crime rate. Annie interrupts, saying she doesn't care. She's been in the Mafia for 10 years, killed over 300 people, and her missions always involve taking down gangs and men who assault women. That's why she came to Morocco, to take revenge on Hakim, who kidnapped her friends, handed them to the criminals, and they were raped and killed. Annie also urges Sarah to join the Mafia, saying it's the only way to make a real change in the world and take down the gangs. Sarah protests that none of this justifies killing people, that humanity is governed by laws, and without them there'd be no difference between humans and animals. When Annie notices U.S. intelligence vehicles arriving to arrest her, she frees herself, chokes Sarah, and warns her that mercy has no place when facing heinous crimes. Sarah loses consciousness, and Annie flees before the intelligence agents can capture her, eventually finding herself standing on the edge of a high cliff. Captain Richard tries to calmly talk to her, acknowledging her pain and understanding that she acted out of revenge for her friends who were brutally killed, but he tells her that doesn't give her the right to kill without a trial. Annie ignores him, jumps, and falls into the sea unharmed. Later, U.S. Agent Rose speaks with Sarah in front of intelligence officers about the murder cases and asks if Hakim was behind them all. Before she can answer, she notices Rose winking at her, realizing he's trying to implicate Annie in the case. Sarah tells Captain Richard that Hakim is the cause of all the murders in Morocco. After the investigation, Sarah speaks privately with Rose, asking why he defended Annie despite her Mafia ties. Rose reveals that he also works with the Mafia and had been helping Annie cover her tracks whenever the police got close, believing her methods weren't wrong because she targets gangs and rapists. He explains that he learned an important lesson: sometimes to fight evil, one must use unconventional methods. Despite being illegal, his actions ultimately help people and make the world safer. Convinced, Sarah takes his contact card for help if needed. 3 months later, Sarah is in the hotel where Vance is staying. She pretends to be a fan who follows his YouTube channel. Vance agrees to let her go to his room to have a sexual encounter. Once inside, she kills Vance and throws him off the hotel roof, making it look like he committed suicide. It's revealed that she joined the Mafia alongside Annie and killed Vance because he was one of the men who assaulted women. And with that, the movie ends. Don't forget, if you liked it, hit the like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel.